Hi, I'm Liz Stish Heinrich, and I am a 1974 graduate of St. Edward's School. My earliest memory of St. Ed's is going to first grade, walking with my sisters and my neighbors, and my best friend across the street, Mary Connor, who is still my best friend to this day, had a little dog named Tinkerbell, and Tinkerbell followed us all the way to school. And we kept telling Tinkerbell to go home, but Tinkerbell did not listen and actually ran into our first grade classroom where Sister Martina took a broom and started yelling, "Whose dog is this?" But we were just so petrified to even admit that that was our dog, our first day of school, that we just let her shoo Tinkerbell out. So that's my first memory of St. Edward's School. The Dominican Sisters of Springfield were a great influence on me. I think of course it starts at home. My mother was very devout, as was my father, and she would always have a May altar or a Marian statue in the home. And we learned, I think my first memory of my mom at our bedside was teaching us how to say the Hail Mary. So we were a very devout family, and coming into the school and seeing those beautiful sisters, I think all the girls just want to be them. And it stuck with me throughout my life. You know, I would always remember back at them and be reminded of, in their devotion to Mary and to Jesus, you know, how they just gave wholeheartely. And I don't know, it's just something about that Dominican habit that just, it reeled me in. Of course, I didn't become a sister. I married, I had 3 children, but my first son is a priest. And sometimes I think that God has a plan. You know, maybe he didn't touch my mother, maybe he didn't touch me, but if he really wants somebody, he touches their heart, and they know what's right and what decision to make. I don't know. I'm probably not saying that right. Well, in 1987, I married Len Heinrich, and he is also a graduate of St. Edward's School, although I did not know him when he was at St. Edward's because, you know, he was so much older. 3 years now. But we got married, and we actually did not get married in the church. We were not really participating in any church or religion, but we did consider ourselves Catholic. We started a family, and by the time that my son Matthew was born, we knew he had to be baptized. So we took Matthew here to St. Edward's, and we spoke with Father Donahue, and he allowed us to baptize Matthew, and it was right in that little chapel that's off of the rectory. And he was baptized there. He was premature, so it was really special to have him baptized. And then really after that, our lives changed, as all parents do. Their focus is different. It's not on themselves, it's on their child and how to best nurture that child. And we thought, well, the church was always there for us. We wanted to give that gift to our children. So as soon as he was able and old enough, we enrolled him at Our Lady of Victory, because that was the school, the Catholic school that was closest to us. And after then raising Charlie and Eloise and having them baptized at Our Lady of Victory, we decided it's time for us to also renew our commitment to the faith, and we got married at Our Lady of Victory. So we had our children stand up for us, and it was really a beautiful little private ceremony, and it really became our family there. We grew so many connections there through our kids. Of course, everything, again, focused on the children. Flash to, you know, the pandemic years, and Our Lady of Victory closes, as is the case with so many of these communities. It just dwindles out, and very sad, because it was a beautiful and strong parish. But we decided that at that time our next next home is St. Edward's. And so we came back here, and Father Dom welcomed us with open arms, and then we found that there were others from Our Lady of Victory that were coming over, and soon more and more and more. So it was a great integration of communities, because I tried to get involved in as many things as I could straight off the bat, just to meet people. When I came from Our Lady of Victory, I was pretty involved over there. So as soon as I came to St. Edward's, I spoke with Father Dom and let him know that I was a Eucharistic minister, a lector, that I had worked for about 10 years with a youth group. I ran the teen club over at Our Lady of Victory, and that I was, Virtus certified, that, so I just kind of laid out my experience and my qualifications. Now I'm a lector and a Eucharistic minister here. It was Paul and Father Dom started a program for the confirmation class, which is a mentoring program, and they asked me to kind of pilot it to see how it would work with the 7th and 8th grade girls. Of course, they have one for 7th and 8th grade boys, but I would be a mentor for the girls. And just to see how we can start their conversation. And that's basically what mentorship is about, is to free them to have faith conversations, to open their imaginations to what their faith is in their today's culture. And then also just to be a face in the pew, because I got to tell you, walking into St. Edward's and knowing somebody and just saying hi, it really connects you to that parish and to that church. And that's what they want for these girls and these guys too. One of the first groups I met when I came to St. Ed's was a little card table outside with a couple of young moms and dads standing next to it with a sign that says, "Join the Green Team." So I was like, well, I can join the Green Team. I'm not the best at recycling or anything like that, but I like the energy that they're putting forth. And so I signed up, and I think I was the only one that signed up that day. And so when they called and I started to meet with these, wonderful young parents, and they're so smart, and they really had such great ideas and aspirations, not only in the environment, but the social justice issues and the liturgical ways that can be incorporated. I was just like, wow, I just like to walk out in the woods, so if I can help, I'll do it. And so I joined them and worked with them, and they were really wonderful. But then as, this was just a few years ago, they started, their kids were getting older, and I completely understand that, or their jobs were changing, so the original members were kind of dropping away, and that kind of left me as the senior member of the Green Team. So right now, though, I'm so happy to say that we have about 6 to 8 members of the Green Team, but we can always use more. So the Green Team really just organizes nature walks, recycling, shredding events, composting, and just so many other different things come up. So if you're interested in joining the Green Team, you can go to our webpage on the St. Ed's website, or you can join us. We meet every April through August. It was 1968, and I was in 2nd and 3rd grade, and that's when the Vietnam War was started, really very bad. And a lot of kids in my grade, we all had older brothers and older siblings, and they're being drafted. So that was really scary, because you're seeing it for the first time on TV, the horrors of war. And we had Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy. It was just really a mess of a year. So I give a lot of credit to the sisters that were teaching us, that kept us calm and focused. So one of the things I see they're teaching now in the junior high is that I am third. And that's something that they really were teaching us in 2nd grade. Who is most important? And it was always God first. So it was God, and then it was community, family, and then me. So now I am 4th, but they were really trying to show us how important God was. at that time when it was really scary to watch the news. I'm sure our parents would turn it off when we got into the room, but it was still permeating, at least from your older siblings coming in with all the news. So St. Ed's really kept us all together and kept us as a little family and protected us in that way. So I have very fond memories of St. Edward's, especially since I was the youngest of my family to go there, so I would have siblings in all of the older grades. Some of the things that I did get involved in at St. Ed's, I really like sports. We would have intramural softball that would be held in the school parking lot. And I'm very proud to say that in my 8th grade year, in 73-74, I was named co-captain of the very first girls basketball team here at St. Edward's. So we won one game. We weren't given a lot of practice time, but we really stuck together. And the 7th grade girls on the team at that time, it was a 7th and 8th grade team, when they took over in 8th grade, it really took off. So I'm very proud to have been a small part of that, glass ceiling breaking at St. Edward's. I played piano, so I had piano lessons. And I also loved when we had our shows. And the shows were in the gym, and it was led by Miss Bernadette Nestali. And she would have the entire class, the entire 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade class, get up there and produce shows. So we would do dances and sing, and it was just so much fun, especially when all the parents would come and watch us. We would sing Beer Barrel Polka, and we would have our little lederhosen and whatever, the dreidels. So we would do that. We would have the dance. So it was full costume. And we did, when Grandma used to dance the minuet, and we would be dressed in, like period clothing and do minuets. We had a really active neighborhood. Lots of the kids went to St. Edward's. It was kind of a half and half thing, St. Edward's or Belding, since that was like literally at the end of our block. But we would all play baseball in the street, and shout for car when a car was coming. And we had a lot more freedom, I think, as children. We would be let to roam free and play ghost in the graveyard throughout the whole neighborhood with 50 different kids and hide in people's yards, and everybody was pretty open to it. As long as we were in, by the time the streetlights came on, it was all good. But when I started going to St. Edward's and getting more involved in the sports there, we would go to Mayfair. And there was one gentleman there that took care of the park, and his nickname was Moose. And I still see Moose sitting in the pews at St. Ed's, and I went over and I thanked him because he really made sure that none of us were getting in trouble or any trouble was coming towards us. And they had a really good sports program over there at Mayfair Park. But we used to go sledding on the highway. I don't think that would be acceptable now, but it was a great hill to go sledding down. I do remember the big snow. I think the big snow was like in 1968 also, or was it in, I think it was then. I'm not 100% sure. But I do remember that we walked to school. We never got the memo that school was closed that day. So my sister Therese, my sister Rita, Mary Connor, Catherine Connor, Colleen Connor, Vinnie Connor, and all the Connors, we walked. It was probably 1, 2, 3, maybe about 6, 7 blocks. And we walked, and I remember my sister Rita had to pick me up because I was actually sinking into the snow, and she would pick me up and put me down, and lift me up and put me down. And we got all the way to school, and we were told there was no school. We couldn't believe it. Like, why wouldn't there be school? And my sister had to pick me up all the way back home and bring me back to the house. And by the time we got home, I have a picture of us. There's a snowdrift against our house that went all the way up past our dining room, so that we were just climbing up the snowdrift and having a blast because I know the city was closed. So there is already a beautiful garden ministry here at St. Edward's, and we work alongside them. We decided that we wanted to have a purely native garden growing and to kind of boost the pollinators like the butterflies and the bees and things like that. So Father Dom allowed us to use the rectory courtyard or the Marian Garden courtyard because it was a little ripped up at that time after the elevator construction. So we pieced that garden back together, and it's still a work in progress, but we've had a lot of success with a lot of different varieties of native plants and butterflies and bees coming back. We also have a beekeeper here in the parish that has built a few bee houses for solitary, non-stinging bees. Wanted to make sure it's non-stinging so nobody gets freaked out, but they've really helped the gardens as well. And then the garden ministry in the front, if you see their beautiful gardens, I think that's also benefiting from the bee houses that we put out there too. So just to conclude, I am a member of the class of 1974, and this is our 50th reunion year. And my friend Mary Connor and I have got together, and we are putting together our reunion. We're looking for you if you graduated from the class of 1974. We're having our reunion on August 17th. Hopefully in the gym, but if not, it would be in the Unity Hall. And we really are looking forward to seeing all of you and reconnecting and sharing all these memories with you.